Welcome to Hanging Out with Robert, that's me. This video contains things that I tinker with throughout the day. For step-by-step detailed instructions of those tasks, you can click on the links in the comment section below. I plan on leaving this video accessible for about 30 days. After that, you can view it through my Patreon account. This video also has tips and tricks that I've learned over the years. So, thank you very much for watching. Kicking off the tinker day, we're going to pull this axle. It's all-wheel drive, so it's going to come forward. Pull those two bolts on the carrier. Pull this bolt here. Hopefully it'll come right out. Slide this thing out and put in another one, which should be on its way. Use that short T55 to get the serpentine built off. I got the timing marks aligned. That's a mark right there. Man, that thing is small. Right there is the mark. So I got that straight up. Exhaust cam one is easier to see. That's up. I'm gonna pull this tensioner off. Make sure the crank is on. Then pull this water pump, all this other stuff. I think I'm gonna knock the crank pulley off. We are chugging right along. Jose has a snap intake. Man, if you look in this intake tube, that thing narrows down to about the size of a golf ball. I believe a golf ball will roll through that thing, but he is got a snap one. That thing can eat that. Look like a big snake eating a little snake. Then he's got the OTE, part of the rip kit. Then he's got an intercooler that we're looking for the instructions for, so we can keep this train going. He's got a blow-off valve. I don't know why he didn't have two. This vehicle was also having problems with the brake pedal being hard and having a lot of travel when you first started it. After it warmed up, it wasn't as bad. It was just about normal. So we figured that it was probably the pump. That brake vacuum pump. It's down here. To get to this vacuum pump, I take out the air box. I take the top of it off. I take the turbo intake pipe loose. Then I lift the box up. I free the clips on that. You can press down on there with like a 11 or 12 millimeter. Pull that up. 3 clips on it. Then there's 3 12 millimeter screws. Then you gotta, that comes out of your way. Get your wire harness stuff out of the way. Then you have a 12 millimeter here and a 12 millimeter down there. The last car I worked on, it was 2 10 millimeters. Then you unplug these vacuum hoses and pull that up, and then you unplug it when you get it pulled up. The plug is on the front side of it right there. So when I was at the salvage yard, I cut the wires on it and I tested the pump with my jump box. So it's good to have a jump box. You can test those wires and make sure the pump works. At least you know it works. Well, Jose purchased a fresh air intake system for this car, which included a turbo intake tube, the rip kit, and an intercooler. So he's not located some of the parts that come with that kit. We're looking for that so that we can keep moving forward. Hey, I'm here with my cousin's 2012 Cadillac SXR or SRX. I don't know, man. You know, this is not my vehicle. So please don't send me 42 messages about other stuff about this truck. I don't know. Right now, he's having problems with the sunroof leaking into the floor of the car. Yes, I did say sunroof. A lot of people don't realize it, but sunroofs are not designed to be sealed and not leak water. They're all going to leak. So what car manufacturers started to do several years ago, 20, 30 years ago is to control the water, control the leak. Because if it's a sunroof, it's going to leak. The seal around here slows the water down, so less water gets in, and the seal stops the edge of the glass from leaking on you. So what happens when it rains and dew or car washes, whatever, a very little bit of water leaks past the sunroof, and that water falls in the channel of the sunroof assembly, and then that water drains out of tubes that are put in the car. Each corner of the sunroof will have a drain tube. So you got 4 drains controlling the leaking sunroof. When any one of those 4 drains are clogged, come loose, or are compromised in any way, that may cause water to come into the car. That's what's going on here. He finds water in his passenger compartment. Sometimes he actually sees it dripping down when it's been raining real hard, dripping down what we call the A-pillar and onto the floor. So his leak is up here, dripping down to the floor here, which tells me that he likely has a compromised drain tube. One of 2 things are happening. Either the drain is clogged and the water is backing up and leaking out here, or the drain has actually come loose and it's causing water to come through his pillar area here. I looked at a couple of YouTube videos showing you where to look, stuff like that. I didn't see any of them that was complete, so I'm trying to make a complete video for you. So remember, you got 4 drains. One on that corner of the sunroof, one on that corner which goes down the back. You got one in this corner, and then one in the back corner that goes out the back. A guy showed where he took this fender well loose. You got a few screws right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. He said there was 5. You pull those 5 fasteners loose. You can pull this bumper loose from the skin of the car. Be careful, don't jerk on it. Try to work it loose, because it probably has some kind of plastic clips that clips it back in. He never showed his clip back in. As far as I know, it's damaged. Anyway, you want to pull that away, and there's a little green drain behind here that comes off of the sunroof drain, the back one. What he did was he put some compressed air on it, blew it out, ran a water hose down there so you can see water coming out. You don't need to pour that much water out of the system. Just take like a half a cup. Take a little bottled water, which one guy did, pour it in this little drain track, and watch it come out of the drains. If it don't come out of the drains, you got a blockage or a loose drain tube in the system. So I think my cousin's is up here in the A-pillar. We're going to go ahead and assume his is clogged somehow. So I'm going to try to pour some water down this corner and the other corner to see where it comes out. The drain tube hooks up to the corner of the sunroof assembly, goes into a tube under this A-pillar, goes down that way, and then at the end of this tube, there's a plug that goes from inside the car to outside the car. On some of these cars, this drain tube assembly stuff has gotten old. If you left the car in the heat a lot, it actually may have shrunk, and if it shrinks, it'll pop loose, and now the tube is not even connected, or the plug that goes from the inside of the car to the outside of the car, called the firewall, that has popped loose, and now the water that goes in there is dumped inside the car and wetting the floor down there. If you just have a minor leak, it could be like what I believe my cousin's here is. If you got a major leak, which is the tube has come loose, the firewall plug has come out, or something like that's happened, you might have a little more work to do. First thing you want to do is test to see if any of the drains are clogged before you start taking the car apart. And if the drains are clogged and you can blow air through them or vacuum dirt out of them or push the dirt down past there and get that clog, you'll be good to go. But if you can't pour a bottle of water down there and have a steady stream of water come out, that means the drain is clogged. So I poured water in there and it was backing up. I kept clearing the drain out until it flowed through without backing up the drain. And there you have it, water out on the ground. If you have water inside the car and it's not backing up in any of your four corners of your drain, you likely have a hose that has come apart, and you need to deal with that by taking the car apart and finding where the line is unplugged or it came loose at. First thing I'm gonna do is work this pillar off. It should just pop out. I moved the seal over with my hand, pull on this trim, it just unsnapped. See how easy that was? It just unsnapped. Be careful you don't damage speaker wires or anything like that. Pull this up and away, lay it there. Now we're looking for the tube that carries the water. See this black tube here? This is the tube that carries the water. This is an airbag. Don't mess with that. This is a little clip that probably should have been attached to that somewhere. No big deal. You got push pin there, guide there, push clip there, another guide there. Looks like may have been broken off in the past. If you want to get this totally out of the way, unplug the speaker wire there so you don't damage your speaker. Get you a good flashlight. Look down in there. Make sure this tube, that you follow this tube down there, that tube is still connected. Somebody's been behind here because this wire is loose from the wall here. So let me try to get this plug back in. This plug should be in this hole right there. And then let me see if I can find the breach in this thing. As you can see, I have a water bottle here. It's not full. This amount of water bottle, 16 ounces, should be able to test all four drains. The car is sitting on a relatively flat surface, so I'm going to try to pour some water on this front corner, see where it goes. That passenger side front corner, and do the same to the back, just to make sure that those drains are leaking the water out. So I'm going to pour the water on the outer side edge back here, and hopefully it'll run out by that back tire back there. That should be enough to do it. Looked like a little bit came this way, but most of it went toward the back. Let's see if we get the water leak back here. Give it a few seconds. A little bit of it rolled toward the front, so I'm coming up here to see if I see anything wet up in this area. Now this tube is the tube that carries the water, so we'll see if anything wet comes up here. It's been about 30 seconds and I don't have no water out of here yet. It's a bad sign. So I'm going to pour a couple more ounces toward this back side, see if it comes out. And I'm going to go to the other side and do the same thing, see if it comes out on the other side. If you look in there, you can see where water should drain in that hole right there. I might have to lean the truck a little forward to get the water to come down in that corner of that drain. Now I have water coming out the back drain, which is good. Now I'm going to look and see if I can find some water leaking up here near the front, because I poured some near the front. I don't see anything yet. Let me go see if I got some leaking toward the front of the car. Yes, I have some leaking toward the front of the car. So the drain is not compromised that bad that it's causing it to leak inside the car. Let me check the other side. Now I'm going to pour some on the passenger side. The driver's side seems to be intact here. Poured about a half a bottle. Coming out the back really good. See if it's coming out the front good. Coming out the front real good. So his drains are working well. We got to figure out why water is leaking in this corner of the car. I'm going to pull a little bit of this roof liner back a little bit to try to see up in there. See, there's something there, bugs, that indicate something is getting up in there, and a little dirt. So I'm going to pull that back and try to look and peek behind this airbag to see if I can find where that tube connects to the sunroof, which should be around there, and see if the tube is loose. The drain on this left front driver's side corner is slow. It's not taking the water down. I pour half a bottle down there, it backs up and it slowly drains down, so it's probably partially clogged. So what we need to do, I don't see any leaking in like my cousins complained about. Open up the hood, pull this little lever here, that pops the hood, lock loose, then the hood safety catch is under there. You push that to the side and lift the hood up. Now that drain tube comes down here and exits out over here somewhere. It's under this plastic guard. So to get to that, if you're going to back flush the drain, you got to take all this stuff out. Take the wipers off, take all this plastic out, so that you can find that tube and pump air up it to get it to unclog, or you got to run something down it to get it to push it down the tube. But I really don't suggest trying to push stuff down the tube, because normally you'll just move the clog down further and further. A lot of times you'll have a little leaf or debris stuck in there. It's not really good to leave your sunroof open or have it open when you're not with the vehicle, because stuff falls out of trees and stuff and lands in those channels, and then water washes it into the drains, and then it slows down the drain. So you got to get something down in that drain to either break it up so it flows faster, or you got to blow it out with some compressed air. The drain is slow and I want to be a little lazy. I don't have all my tools with me to make sure I take all the stuff apart and put it back together right. So I got some telephone wire that is relatively flexible, but it's stiff enough to push down that drain and not do any damage. So I'm going to push this down that drain hole from the top. About 3 feet will get me down to where the drain turns, and see if I bump into anything there and clear it out. That would speed that up. So let's see how this goes. I poured about a bottle of water up in that drain where it was clogged up, and now I could see it dripping from this trim right here. So this trim, see, you still got water dripping standing in here. It's flooded. So let me try to speed up this drain. Push this down there about 18 inches and it stopped. So let me try again. If it stops again, I'm gonna have to unplug that drain. I'm getting about 2.5 feet down in there. Then it stops, which is about right here. So I'm gonna put a tube on there and try to blow into it. I put this silicone hose down in there. It fit real tight. Outside dimensions, maybe 1/2 inch, but you see how big it is compared to my fingers. I blew in there until I could hear air come out of there. So when I blow and suck on it, you can hear the air coming through there. Now I'm gonna pull it out and see if that sped up the drain process. Sound like it sped up a little bit. Let's see. Pour some more water in there. Yep, it's coming out pretty quick now. So maybe something got in there and dried up, got hard. But I'm gonna take a full bottle of water, pour it in there, and make sure it drains out. When the drain was slow, I would pour it down this side. It would go down to the drain and fill up. Then it would start backing up on this side. That was telling me that it was slow. So now I'm gonna pour this half a bottle of water in there and see if it tries to back up there again. It's still backing up in there. That's not good. Let's see how fast it's coming out down here. I'm gonna go check the other side, see if the other side is faster than this side. Seems to be draining out pretty good on this side now. I'm on the passenger side. I'm gonna pour it in there, see if it backs up on this side. Pouring it as fast as I can. It does back up a little bit, but not far. I also see a couple pieces of leaves in there. I need to get those out because I don't need those running down the drain. As you can see, this drain is draining a little faster, so I'm gonna try to blow that out a little more. After blowing it out a couple times with my hose, I got it flowing fast enough, actually faster than the other side, that it is now taking a whole bottle of water and it's not backing up on that other side. Now, if I couldn't get that freed up like that, it looks like this car may be a little different than the older ones. Looks like the hose is a little longer, so that may be better, but you would definitely have to take off this cowling across here and get to that drain that way, because I don't think you can unplug it from in there and get that plug back in. If you have to take these wipers off and this cowling stuff off, you just pull these off. They pop off the bolt, pull that bolt loose, looks like a 15 millimeter. Same on the other side, pull these wipers up and off of here, and then take these clips out here all the way across, pull that up, pull this gasket piece up here, looks like it goes down to here, and then pull this piece off across here. That will give you access to that drain in there. So I re-secured that clip there, made sure that clip there was good. I tucked the seal back over this top piece here. Now I'm just gonna guide that back in the bottom there. It's got a little guide here that hooks over that side. This guide will go through this hole. This clip will go in here. This clip will go in there, and that'll hold that piece up there. Then you flip the seal around it. Align the bottom in, look over this side, make sure that guide pin is going through the hole, and then just bump it in with your hand, pull the gasket out over it, and you should be good to go. Really didn't need to pull that to test the drains because it wasn't disconnected in here. It was just clogged. If you feel that this information was useful, please like it and share it with your social media friends. You can subscribe to my channel so that you will get notifications of future videos that I post. You can follow me on Twitter, and if you need to contact me directly, please visit my website. And if you have any questions, leave them below, and someone or myself will reply to them. Again, thank you very much for watching.